Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and I was always told how to voice radio, so today I'm going to be showing you a very exciting Noivern card. Except Noivern's not really the one we're looking at. But we kind of are. It will all become clear as we go through. So looking at Noivern here, it is a colourless Pokemon, which is kind of rubbish, to be honest. It does mean that we know that all the attacks are going to be colourless, and you can use double colourless energy, and that's nice. But you're not hitting anything for weakness, like nothing for weakness, which is rubbish. Retreat cost of 1 is pretty nice, that's pretty low. Resistance to fighting is pretty nice because Buzzwole. And, to be honest, weakness to lightning at the moment is about the best weakness you can have. We've seen Raichu GX see a little bit of success here or there. I did do a video about Raichu GX the other day and how it did get a top 32 at Collinsville Regionals. But that's about it. Outside of that, you are just not being hit for weakness here. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a wonderful, wonderful thing. 120 HP is fine. It's alright. Stage 1 Pokemon. It's not great, it's not high, it's not abysmal, it's not like a 60 HP Alolan Dug Trio, which is frankly a bit embarrassing. So, couple of attacks here. What do we have? First attack, 1 colourless energy, 20 damage. The defending Pokemon is now confused. I should mention the translations today come from the wonderful Antoine Boulay, who did tweet me a picture of this card, while also tweeting me a translation, proving that he is in fact more than worthy of the lovely man tag with which I so often tag him. 20 damage plus confusion is fine. I mean, we've seen this before. We've seen this very similar on Espeon GX. It does 30 damage and confusion for a single energy. It's not bad. Now, the advantage that Espeon has is that it's got the Energy Evolution Eevee, so you can get it going on turn 1 if you go second. Well, you can get it turn 1 going first. You just can't actually use it going first, because you don't get to attack if you go first. It's fine. It's nice to force your opponent into a situation where they have to flip a coin to use an attack or else try and switch their active Pokemon. All in all, it's not terribly exciting. This is a stalling attack. And the thing is, if we look at Espeon decks, they're generally played with stuff like Drampa, that then does Berserk for 150. Or Garboda, that comes in and does a whole bunch of damage, 20 for every item card in your discard. It slows down the game to wait for the other Pokemon to build up. So Noivern can still use that, but that's about the only use for this attack. The second attack, 3 colourless energy, but remember you can use double colourless to bring the cost of this down. 70 damage. If the defending Pokemon is confused, it does 70 more damage. It's not bad. 140 for free energy is not bad at all. Now, of course, at this stage I am obliged to mention, as I always do, that if you add a choice band here, you can get a KO on a Tapu Lele. If you've been playing this game since the release of Guardians Rising, you will know that the ability to KO a Tapu Lele, combined with playing Guzma, which everybody does, is a big part of the game at the moment for taking 2 cheeky prizes or for taking your final 2 prizes. And this isn't bad, because the other thing is, let's say you don't get a KO, well, you do 170 and they're still confused. So something like an Espeon GX, for instance, comes along, and if they flip a Tails on their confusion flip, then they're at 200 total and they get KO'd. Honestly, though, I really kind of wish that this Noivern was a Dragon-type Noivern. Because, fun fact, this is the first colourless type Noivern. We had the Noivern in Furious Fists, which was kind of good because it prevented any damage on a coin flip with the ability, which was nice. We had the Noivern from Breakthrough, which, to be perfectly honest, wasn't particularly good, but it was still a dragon type. And we had Noivern GX, which has got those 2 interesting attacks and people keep trying to use, especially in expanded with double dragon energy. Why do we want Noivern to be a dragon Pokemon? Because if it was a dragon Pokemon, it would be able to use Devoured Field, meaning you would do an extra 10 damage. So with a choice band, that 170 becomes a 180. And there's a whole bunch of Pokemon like Drampa, for instance, that would be KO'd. Weirdly enough, you'd still be hitting nothing for weakness. Noivern it's very sad, it's a dragon flying Pokemon. Which means that in a trading card game, it's either going to be a colourless Pokemon and hit nothing for weakness, or it's going to be a dragon-type Pokemon and hit nothing for weakness. But at least if it was a dragon Pokemon, it would be able to use Devoured Field to do an extra 10 damage. That is personally annoying to me, ladies and gentlemen. I don't particularly like this about Noivern. I do like the second attack, but the problem is it only does lots of damage if the defending Pokemon is confused. If it was a flat 140 for free energy, then we'd be excited. As it is, it's okay, but it's nothing to get terribly excited about. Now, there's plenty of ways to get the confusion on there. I've already mentioned Espeon GX. You have, of course, got the first attack from Noivern, and actually that does the numbers pretty nicely, because then you've got an extra 20 damage added on. But might I suggest Nihilego? Nihilego GX has got a really cool ability that says that when you play it down, both active Pokemon are both confused and poisoned. So there's an extra 10 damage going on right there, and it's 10 damage between turns. It could add up quite quickly. Problem is, you're confused as well. So you've either got to flip heads on a confusion flip, or you've got to have a Pokemon in the active that you can retreat into Noivern. Ladies and gentlemen, it is clunky and annoying. But the thing that makes Noivern really good is Noibat. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking Noibat. You see, Noibat is not, in a lot of ways, a particularly exciting Pokemon. It's only got 50 HP, that's very low. It does 10 damage for a single energy, that's uninspiring. So why are we excited about it? Because the second attack, for 2 colourless energy, and let's not forget double colourless energy here, and all of a sudden, well, this attack is phenomenal. You see, what you do is you look at your opponent's hand and you discard all of their item cards. Like, all of their item cards. Like, every single one of their item cards. They've got an Ultra Ball. They're not searching for a Pokemon. That's a bit annoying. Maybe they've got a Zorua on their bench and they've got an Evo Soda in hand and they want to use that Evo Soda to search for a Zoroark GX and evolve it up while they can't. And remember, I said discard. I didn't say shuffle into their deck. So it's not like they can even draw into them later. Ladies and gentlemen, they are gone. Now maybe they've got a Tapu Lele in their hand, in which case they can still use it. Maybe they've got a Cynthia in their hand, in which case they've still got a supporter for the turn. Maybe they draw into their Pokemon otherwise. Or maybe you get rid of their Choice Band. Maybe you get rid of their Puzzle of Time. Maybe they've already lost a couple of double colourless energy and you get rid of their Special Charge. Ladies and gentlemen, this attack is phenomenal. And if you use it right and if you hit good, you really can ruin your opponent's entire game in one attack. You use this attack and your opponent basically goes, well, I mean, I've lost. Think back to using Getsis, which we all do in the expanded format at the moment. You drop a Getsis, your opponent has to shuffle all their items back into their deck. We've all seen games won and lost because of a Getsis drop. Now imagine those items don't go back into the deck to be gotten later, they just go away for the entire game. This is phenomenal and could break your opponent. This could lose your opponent the game. It could take away options. Either they can't get their Pokemon back. I mean, let's take an example here. Let's say they have to use an Ultra Ball in the early game to discard a couple of Zoroark GX. Now, most of the time we say stuff like, well, it's alright. We can get it back with a Rescue Stretcher later. What if you discard their Rescue Stretcher after they've done an awkward discard? That's hilarious. Now, you might be thinking, well, hang on a second, Ross, that's all well and good, but didn't you say that Noibat has 50 HP and isn't great? Yes, I did. That, ladies and gentlemen, is where Shining Celebi comes in. Shining Celebi's got a brilliant ability which allows you to use the attacks of your pre-evolutions. If you want to go into the expanded format, we've also got the Stadium card Shrine of Memories, which does the same thing, except it's a Stadium card, not an ability. You can use either of them in Expanded, Shining Celebi in Standard, and now all of a sudden this Pokemon's starting to look a lot more interesting. Now you've got the single energy Confusion attack, and the free energy potential big damage attack, and the discard all your item cards, ha ha ha, now you lose the game kind of attack. So maybe you discard their Float Stone, and then confuse them, and then maybe they don't have a way to get out of the confusion and they have to risk the coin flip. I like this card. I don't love Noivern. But when you build in being able to use Noibat's attack and turn it into a free different attack Noivern, I mean, technically it's got 4 attacks, but 10 damage for 1 energy is not an attack about which you should ever get excited, because you could do 20 plus confusion for 1 energy, which is just out and out better. I really like this Pokemon, and I'm probably going to go overly generous here when I award it 4 Wassies. I think of this like I think of a card like Reuniclus from Black and White. It's going to see no play, 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 and then someone's going to bring out this ridiculous rogue deck that nobody sees coming, which is going to go and crush a tournament somewhere, and people are going to go, well, what was I supposed to do? He discarded all of my items. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how I view Noivern. But as with all of these, I would like to hear how you view Noivern. That's why there's a comment section. Please might I encourage you to go nuts, whilst respectfully requesting that you be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and so on, you can do so by going to patreon.com/PTCGRadio. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.